Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Storms Over Cerenar by Epic Boon Productions. We have just escaped from Can's Pasadar here for Session 2, Part 2 of our campaign here, as our mighty heroes have retrieved the verdant shard from the depths of Can's Pasadar and made it out just in time before the whole temple complex collapsed behind them, of course. So, as you are all have moved up up back to the archaeological site here, you see a lot of the workers running, have ran away as people are has scattered. You can see one of the tents have fallen over. A lot of the things around here has fallen down from tables or other kind of places. As you are led into the center of the archaeological dig, Oust, you can't see Rehad anywhere. There's a few people looking at you as Prima Savannah looks at Secundus Abane and then looks back at you, and she goes, "Sir, I don't know what the fuck happened or what that thing is, but you got us out of there alive." She looks at the rest of you guys. I don't know what in the Emperor's hairy ass all of this is supposed to mean, but
well, it's not a Legionnaire's job to question Savannah, so we
No, I've been in the Legions for hundreds of years. Optional. I've seen my fair share of things, and I know Maledicta when I see it, and she points at the verdant shard. That said, you have treated me better than the rest of the fucking Empire ever had, so I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I'll give you guys some minutes. All right, guys. She looks at all the Legions. Give the Optio some space. Junior, get the hurt people over there. She points over there. And
get Arbane a drink as well while we're at it. He looks like he needs it.
Yes, sir, Junior says, and they're moved over here with her as Savannah. Yeah, what do you do, Theus?
Because I go to both of the ones which I saved their life.
Yeah.
Which lives I saved.
Yes. These are the ones over here.
Walk over to them. Savannah and what was the other one?
Secundus Abane, the one over here.
Okay, yeah, both of them. I will go to them and say, so we help each other, and we are I would say brothers in arms, and I kind of saved your lives multiple times. You are currently still thinking about what your decision should be, but could I help you remember that after this event and after I saved your life, that maybe you should decide to just forget what happened here. Nobody has to know, and it would really help. And you, as honorable men and women, should at least help the one out that saved your life, right?
They look at each other. Give a persuasion check, please.
Okay. All of your perception checks and your persuasion are perception.
Yeah. Sometimes I say weird things.
I cannot roll high, lower than a 10. So this would be for because of
23,
silver tongue.
Right?
Yeah, 23 is the lowest I can actually roll.
Okay.
Oh wow.
They look at each other. They look at you.
Silver tongue.
They look at you, and Savannah says, "Bannock, go over there. Get some rest." She looks at you. Yeah, thank you. I don't know what's going to happen here, and I don't feel good about it. But you're right. And she feels pained and confused as she looks up at you, Oust. Then she shouts at Minoso, "Minoso, secure the northern entrance. Up here, you keep the bridge. I'll go looking for the rest." As they like without saying anything, just take up the positions, and Primus Savannah just walks off to go look for the rest for some. And you are left alone in the middle of the archaeological day.
I will scream, and don't forget the glorious Bjorn. He's the greatest. Okay, bye.
So, I like to step up to
So.
Oust.
After that, you can feel the rough, coarse sand just clinging to your sweaty skin or fur for some of you. As you've been fighting for your life. Some of you with lightning scorch marks all over, or big bruises where the stone statues have hit you. You are considerably worse for wear. What do you do?
I like
You're
to
standing there looking at each other.
Step up to Oust and say, so now we spilled blood together. Well, at least my blood was spilled. And I think...
You stand around.
All of us.
No one saying anything. Just
Hold
listening
on,
to the...
Stop for a moment. Can you not hear Bjorn?
No.
He was just speaking fluently just then.
Sorry, Jonas. I had, for some reason, you were on mute. I don't know why. Please start over again.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to Oust.
Okay.
And,
I'm just there. I'm just sort of stood there, just stretching.
and while brushing the sand off my big bare fur, I'm gonna say, so I think we need to talk. Like, I think you need to give us an explanation. And maybe I also have something to add to that. But we, I don't know, might go into the commander's tent. And I like to say this like all-knowingly, in essence.
Well, I think the explanation that maybe you're asking for from me, I think that's a matter for debate. But we definitely went through something there, and yes. But if you know anything, please. Well, I think we're all ears now. But yes, by all means, I'm sure we can step into the tent for now. Never know whose ears are poking around corners in this camp, as far as I'm concerned.
As you step into your commander's tent, you see a lot of different kind of rocks everywhere, vases, different kind of decorations everywhere. As all of the fabric is just quietly moving in the wind. You see a lot of the things that you have standing around in the tent has fallen over in the earthquake kind of situation you had going, and it is a bit messier than when you left it.
Is it all of us in there, or just Bjorn? Just Bjorn and I?
I guess all of you went in there, right?
Okay, cool.
I'm waving them, the other guys inside as I'm holding the tent flap open.
Yeah, Cephis will follow. He also has things to say.
So before I begin, I would really like to maybe just go through what the hell happened. Like, what's up with that chicken? It grew in size.
Cephis
I think that is the most... Go on, sorry.
Cephis thinks there are other things that are a bit more important than the chicken, who is bigger than a normal chicken. He's
Let's get to the bottom of the chicken first, though. I think the chicken should be top of our. Let's work our way down. We're at C on the alphabetical. Let's go for chicken first, and then we can get to the rest of the stuff. What was with
Safis
that
thinks Safis thinks you skipped over the important letter of A in that alphabetical order of yours, Mr. Otts.
Well, I mean,
And
what
for
a
that
day.
matter, all of you, Safis kind of taking a step back, looking at the people he now knows all collectively to be mages of some kind. All of you, Safis was surprised to see so many of you are capable of magics, especially considering looking at Theus and Oz specifically. Two of you do not seem to be members of this conclave.
yes. The bard, quite some non-sanctioned magic there. I mean, I'd hate to hear what the pillar has to say
I
about
am
this
not
kind of
one
thing.
who steps through the portal.
Oh, I mean, in front of Nongle, no less. You, my friend, are in trouble. I mean, we'll see what the tribunal has to say about this, but I mean, it's not looking good
Nongle
for you, my friend, at all.
just stares at Ost.
Safis thinks you deflect too much. We all saw. We all know. Let us speak of it. Before your legionary friends decide to make a decision for you.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about the Legion.
No,
Safis would.
there's definitely other things that we need to worry about. More. Well, let's just say that that little act of whatever it was you did, Ost, was noticed by my higher ups. So
I don't believe it would have been.
it was definitely noticed. They contacted me directly. I'm to report to them. And I am here wondering what I should report.
DM question. Would the conventicle be able to track me and magic coming from me with the amulet that I have?
Not
being the
magic,
amulet against proof against detection and location.
not magic that you do, per se. But they probably, like, the sheer magical forces involved in you absorbing the shard could probably have had something else to do with that.
Yeah, so they can't track you, but they can track magic that happens, right?
That is the DM reminding you there was a giant gaping portal that exploded and closed shut.
Yes.
Well,
around you.
my friends, it could have been any of us. I'm sure, this time it was me. Tomorrow, who knows? I am merely a humble servant of the Imperium. I'm sure you can all agree. Nothing. In fact, I'm one of the most mundane people I know. So
I don't mean to be rude, but I do need to make a report, and you're not making it easy for me, dodging the questions that we're asking you. So, explain yourself.
But
yes,
Nongo, do you really think you need to write that report? Like, Björn is raising up and actually turning his full attention and scary demeanor towards you. Because what I think happened in there is more important than any report and any empire I look towards Oust.
Well, until I
think-
know exactly what happened, I am not satisfied, I guess you could say. Needs to be a reason for me not to do so. But you're asking me to lie, and I have no reason to lie. So,
from what I could
explain yourself, Ost.
From what I could see, we entered the tomb. Immediately, I think we can all agree there was stranger things afoot, and
yes,
yada yada yada, big portal, and in the interests of academic advancement and unlocking the secrets, of the Kalar, I, bravely being the leader of this expedition, stepped through the portal in order to investigate what may be in play. Upon doing
Safis.
so, apparently, sorry, Safis, please.
Safis would
go
like
ahead.
to interject in that. One, no, and two, no. This ruin is not of the Calafis. It is altogether something different. Safis would know he's made his living for some time going through these dungeons, and he has never seen anything like this. Point of note, Safis would like to remind the group, and possibly those who had not seen it, you made a point of entering the portal while we were under assault by this bronze serpent guardian, which to Safis says you may have had ulterior motives.
Ah, well, therein lies the crux. You see, let me be frank with you, my friends, and I will admit my fear of the pillar has possibly got in the way. But upon entering the room, once we opened the door, a unfamiliar presence was made evident to me. A voice from, well, from whensoever, who knows? But a voice that I did not fully consider friendly, shall we say. I, being the academic I am, drew the conclusion that this was the snake itself. I felt that the snake and the portal were inextricably linked, and perhaps through the portal was the means of destroying said lizard. I believe now we can obviously see that that was not the case. I'm sure anything that you saw past that, be it from me or the snake, was entirely the magic of the tomb itself and of nothing else. I am merely a cog in this machine, and by no means the operator, I can assure you.
Sapius would like to ask Noggle if this is enough for his report to the pillars.
I'm quite curious to find out exactly what happened, but I suppose I can tell them information enough without, well, not giving them full details until I have a full report. So I will tell the conventicle, I will ask them, or tell them that, well, there was a portal that exploded into some sort of magic, and it is still under investigation. And though that is dodging certain questions to the conventicle, I am still holding all of you under investigation until I know more about what is going on.
Then Safis would like to say, now that you have enough for your report, Ost, would you like to explain more in detail, unofficially, what you think happened?
I can assure you that everything that I knew was that I know has been explained. I mean, I went for a portal and it was an empty room. There was, I went in, then, well, I can't remember. Yeah, as far as I know, there was nothing in there, and then I kind of just walked back out. Barely
Did
a
you meet
second
them?
passed.
Did you meet them
No.
in there? Were they there? Did you see them too?
The
Did they greet you?
well, perhaps perhaps we can discuss this another time. I don't this I mean troubling. Perhaps we can offer some counseling of this watched you speak. Mr. Bjorn, I have no idea what you mean.
Because I saw them. The vision. That's why we're here, Theus and I. Because it's important. You,
Right.
I point to everyone in the group. And we're connected. It's our destiny. Don't you see it? This is more important than the empire I spit on in the sand. Or the tower in the sky I spit again in the sand. Or anything else. We have weaved into the carpet of destiny.
Safis is hesitant to believe this. Destiny is a finicky thing that moves with sands and the wind, and it is hard to believe that a man of the North would come here
Then
on a
again-
vision quest.
Saw it. You saw him step through the portal, and blessed the gods, he stepped out again, even more powerful than before. This is why I'm here. That is why I waived my fee.
Well, of that we're in agreement. Of course. I mean,
Thump.
something of.
You hear your case plop next to you.
What was that?
Does,
now?
does Hajar with a perception of 30 hear him
Shit.
plump into the case?
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Oh no!
Secrets from
Um,
Hajar? Not today.
Yeah, my passive
don't
is
know about
21.
you.
Did I hear this as well?
yeah, both of you. Like, say everyone with 15 or above, you hear it.
What was this?
You know, the cooks in this camp. I don't know what they've been cooking, but it's been upsetting my stomach no end. And frankly, all of that lightning earlier has only served to jumble it around. If you'll excuse me for just one moment, I just need to avail myself of the facilities.
If you actually just wait here, there's one more thing I want to ask you. And
I mean, you're gonna have to be quick because it's on its way.
Oh, this will be quick, and I am going to use read thoughts on you. So this will proc a wisdom savings throw.
Well, it only procs a wisdom saving throw if you attempt to go deeper than surface level.
No, it's twice. It's
No, this
it's
is
twice.
this is not a spell. This is a class ability. So
my mistake.
here.
Oh, yeah, but the detect thought spell, you actually have to wisdom save for the first time, and then wisdom save again for deeper probing.
All right, I was just wrong.
So
on
this
all
is
points. My
read
bad.
thoughts. So
no.
yeah. So I'm
If I've
going
got a dick
to
to tell me, the last thing I need to be is probed. All right.
Oh, perfect. Oust, what's like you take over narrative control of this situation, as this is.
Sure. I mean, as
so-
soon as I make a wisdom saving throw, we'll see. But I have
Fair.
got an 8 wisdom, so maybe we're okay.
19. You're fine. You're good.
I'd imagine. I don't. I'm just for the
that's
sake
pretty right.
narratively. I'd imagine my thoughts are. Oh, I could really use the privy right about now. That Kalari stew that I had for breakfast is there's something not right about it. Bit of a
Then.
bit of a tummy knock, I'm afraid, chaps.
Thump,
Won't be
another
a
one.
mo. It's really coming hard and fast now. I'll be right back.
It's-
I go look at the others. I mean, come on, we are all very tired, and I will look at off. We should just rest for today. I think we can talk about this tomorrow, and then we have a better understanding. All right?
my
Sounds
house.
fine by me. I will pop out of the tent at that point as well, whether people like it or not. In terms of, and sort of run to the same place that I did first session when I had a
Yeah.
similar knocking.
Oh no. Also, Evan's detect thoughts is actually only one. I thought it was two. It's actually only one. Yeah, you were right.
Yeah, when I'm fairly sure that I am hidden, I will take a look at the post.
Sure. The first.
I do want to say,
Yeah.
Safis will probably like poke his head out to look, like down the camp. He really does not trust Oust at this point for several reasons. He's also not stupid and has dealt with shady characters for a very long time. So
Do
he will
I-
attempt to, at a distance, perceive what Oust is doing, not like
And-
see if he does something beyond just actually going to use the restroom.
May I
And,
counter perceive to see if he is looking at me?
That is like the way we do air quotes PvP here is if something is done against you, Oust, you're the DM. You call for the rolls. You can say if it succeeds or if it fails, with or without a roll. That's up to you. So whatever you think makes
I mean-
sense for your character, right?
I would imagine that Oust is panicked enough not to be taking as large precautions as normal, so he wouldn't be stealthing. So it's absolutely fair that Sophis would see me. What I was checking is whether I'd have the whether I would perceive that he's seen me if I'm kind of looking around shiftily, as I'm running off. Whether I notice him snooping.
Would you like to do contested rolls then? Like your perception against my stealth?
Sure.
Or okay.
I've got a
makes sense,
feeling you're
guys.
going to blow me out of the water, but yeah.
Cool.
Well, you say rolling an 18.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
This is
Expecting a
going to be like
30.
a 38 though. Yeah, no, there we go.
Yeah, I
26
expected
stealth.
All right. So
Okay.
so what does Safis see? It is your prerogative to tell me what my character manages to glimpse.
You probably see me sort of falsely and like sort of pantomiming me just undoing my breeches as I walk around the corner, and then kind of if you're kind of following at a distance, you then see that I absolutely wasn't doing that, and I'm the small kind of scroll box that I have at my side or like strapped to the back of my belt. I'm kind of unscrewing that, and I'm unfolding one or two small bits of paper.
Where are you
Alright.
keeping the verdant shard as you're doing this?
That's a good question. I would imagine that's. Oh, that's a very good question. I'd imagine I'm actually holding the verdant shard. I've not desummoned it or anything like that at this point because I don't think I'd know that I could. So I'm probably just holding it whilst also kind of unscrewing this thing. So I've taken a sword to the toilet with me, essentially.
As you take out the note, you see the verdant shard in your hand starting to like move, crack, then move again, then crack, and shine a little bit. It starts humming as the note is unfolded in front of it. I don't know if you react to anything, but it is definitely reacting on that kind of thing there.
I'd probably I'd acknowledge it, but considering how weird today's been, I'd kind of like, of course, just carry on unfolding this note.
And on the piece of paper, it says, written in your own hand as per usual, "We are free. Now we must discover our purpose. The purpose is the most important thing of all." And that was the first note.
Okay, and the second?
The second one, as you stop looking at the first note, you see it like suspend itself in midair, roll up, and then poof, just burn up in a quick flash of green flame.
Okay. Which
Yeah.
Saphis would also see.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Actually, he wouldn't because he after he sees you pull the pieces of paper out, he would have just turned back around and just having satisfied that he is aware you are just reading secret messages. Because really, all he wanted to know is what you were actually doing.
Fair enough.
All right.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, he did not see that magic poof. He just saw you take out the paper. All right.
And then on
Yeah,
the second
and-
note,
Yes.
what you see is there are those who would see the truth of me and you buried forever in the sand.
Well,
This is not the time to fight. We need them to figure out our true purpose, Oust.
I'll kind of look around for a second and then sort of.
You're just sitting like ass out and
I don't think I ever dropped trow or anything like that. I think I'm just kind of
all
stood
right,
there
yeah,
behind
sure.
this thing, and I'm sort of carry around. It's a bit like when there's an intercom thing and you're like replying for it and you don't know where you're meant to be talking into, and so I kind of begin talking at the sword. I'm like, okay, yes, purpose definitely. Number one on the old itinerary. I do feel like some of our companions might be the type of people who do want to bury us. So we'll see. Others I am suspicious of, but then that's part of the course. But I guess we shall see. But thank you for the notes, and you're welcome.
You see your own mirror image just look at you in the eyes, not moving its mouth, as it just nods at you.
Big fan of that, by the way, and the whole sword thing. Love it. Better than the mild one. Just, little theatrical, but that's fine. I'll, okay, well, I mean, give it another minute for wiping, and then we'll, yep, that'll do. Okay, I will, yes, I'm assuming the other note goes poof as well.
Yeah, that's not as soon as you stopped, right?
Yeah.
But then,
Can we do something in the meantime?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
yeah. In the meantime, you guys are in the tent.
Okay.
So Cephis re-entering will just kind of stand off to the side and wait for somebody else to say something.
What did you see? Where did he go?
Cephis sees watch team go to the privy.
Is that all?
So Theus, did you see me kill the big bronze snake?
Oh yeah, I saw that. And please, you know the plan. Don't. I am not strong. You are strong. If you leave me behind.
Oh, it was perfect. I think at some point, Shyvana, she helped me, and she was great. But I was even greater, and I kind of felt bad about the whole you never get a reward because it's the Empire and they never share stuff. So I got you this. I'm gonna present the small bronze plate that I took from the snake and give it to Theus.
Does it look like valuable?
I don't know.
Well, it looks like at least
Yeah.
a few pounds of bronze.
Like, how much is it worth?
Maybe a few gold.
It's fine. Okay. Oh. Danke, Bjorn. Danke. Thank you, Bjorn. Thank you. But we really have to talk about how we will do our business here. We have to spread your name, and for that, I think it's important to have some relations. And I looked over to Noggle. Mr. Gnome, your name was what?
Nongle.
Nongle, just?
Nongle Shadow One, Huglin, Woo Happy, Clarebart, Dibbinim is my full name.
Nongle, okay, good. Mr. Nongle.
Fine, don't want my full name.
How you come from the tower, right? And it's well connected all over the world, right?
The tower sees old, yes.
And it's like there are a lot of people going in and out, and you have connections all over the world. Like, how good are the magics of the tower just like sending messages all around? And I just want to show you, like, this is. I look at, like, show Bjorn, like, I point to Bjorn. He's the newest, hottest stuff straight from the north. He, like, you have books, right, of hero stories. He has it all. Like, just send one of your mages there, and we will tell all of his greatest stories, all of his achievements, and we can get it in books, and then people will buy these books. And let's say split 50-50. We will provide the stories, we will provide heroics, and you can spread stories and sell them, and we both profit. How does it sound?
Nongle, you're pretty sure, looking at this, that this big man clearly serving the gods of the north probably won't be a hit in the tranquil pillar right now, as he is in their eyes serving alien beings from beyond this realm.
You seem to underestimate, first of all, the capabilities of the pillar. We could spread out your information, but that is not what we do. And if I was to tell them about your friend's powers, well, we would have to take him somewhere where he would no longer be able to swing that blade of his.
Okay,
You
can I,
understand?
They can try. They can try.
I
how
ass-
about this?
I assure
we
you-
forget all of that and we just like, okay, damn it. John, it's
As it
so
gets a
hard
bit-
to make money out of the North. Like in the North, it was much easier to make money.
As it gets a bit aggressive in
Yeah.
here, I kind of walk in and go, "Oh, well, I mean, thank goodness that tent's well aerated." That's all I'm saying. Right.
Safis, is good to see you back. It is now, I think, time for more questions.
Oh,
But-
good.
But I think, like you said, alphabetically, there's now time to move on to this Bjorn.
Yes.
Notably, these visions you speak of. Safis would like to know what exactly you saw and who exactly you saw.
My visions.
Hmm.
I saw you die, and I saw you. I point to Nonkel. I saw you die, and sadly, Theus, I actually I saw you die as well. But that's not the
nothing
point.
new.
The point is, now I'm here. Now I can protect you all.
Not looking good for all of you, though. You're all
Oh,
dead.
you died as well, but
Oh. Of course.
and yeah. But now I'm here to protect you. It's all part of the plan.
Safis would like to know whose plan.
Oh, the the ones who have plans for us all. You know, the guards all around us.
Mm,
Ooh, well, I mean,
Safis does not know much of these gods.
I don't think your gods, as you speak, these aliens, are to be praised in these lands per se, Master Bjorn.
These are not my guards. These are like everyone's guards. It's not for mine to keep.
Safis thinks you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what the man means. But Safis cares not for your faith, but cares deeply about these visions you claim to have from them. You say you saw us die, each of us. How, and what means?
You died by the arrow. And you, Nuncle, died by the horse.
ooh.
And Theus, it's too hard for me to speak about. And Arst, as I recall, you vanished.
Oh. Well, that's not too bad.
In
You
a
got the
painful
good end
way,
of the deal.
I might
Oh.
add.
Oh, well, I mean, feel like you're embellishing, but fair enough.
So that's why I'm here. It's my destiny. It's yours.
His tail kind of thrashing side to side at this point. Safis is forgive Safis, but he is hesitant to believe your warnings, we shall call them. Safis has lived a very long time doing a lot of very dangerous things, and very little times has he come close to dying to begin with. That said, maybe moving down the line to C now. And he kind of just like looks around the room for a moment. No, or further than that, we do not seem to have anybody with the name C here. I suppose we move on to you, Mr. Theus. It seems you yourself are a practitioner of some form of magical art.
I have abilities which are used for the benefit of all the people. And all the people would benefit if Bjorn would be getting famous, as he will be the harbinger, I think, of a new age.
Cephas' eyes widen a little at that remark.
I believe what Bjorn stands for is currently right, and the abilities I have, they're there to help.
You who are vicious, couldn't you see with your own eyes that it was Theus and I who brought everyone out? It was me who killed the great serpent.
Cephas,
How can you even question our intentions?
Cephas, we'd like to remind you that Cephas was well and clearly out of the room before our gnome friend here from the pillar also was out of the room by magics. Cephas appreciates your concern, but Cephas is once again hesitant to believe a man who says he comes from a far-off land and has witnessed the deaths of several complete strangers via the gods? Your gods?
Everyone's.
It's an awfully
Yes.
nice racket, though, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
turn up from the north with a bunch of strangers, go into a tomb, kill things, and then claim that it's all you. And I'm assuming we're just waiting for the bill now, aren't we? But
Oh,
well, I mean,
he's explained it thoroughly enough that this is about his gods. And this is God's plan and visions and such. And I'm sure that all of us have had some sort of visions in the past. This is quite interesting. Just gonna put us back in here. There we are.
There we go.
All right.
All right, if you could just repeat yourself, Alex.
oh god. Do we know how long it was down for?
Just a minute.
Just a minute, yeah.
Okay, right. It's just well, I mean, you know, just seems awfully strange that you know, you've come in here claiming that we're all in the wrong for various magic doings, assumed or otherwise, and then you know, one of the pillar zone is having visions. You know, I feel like that's bigger news, isn't it? You know, ill doing on the inside, as it were. I mean, I'm sure.
Cephas
Yeah.
would warn you to be careful throwing stones with your glass sword.
Exactly. There
The
we go.
sect that I work for in the pillar, or that they have granted me, is well, let's say sanctioned for this sort of activity. I generally travel to the gates that open up around this place that connect this world to the world such as Bjorn's gods are from or whatnot. These alien-like creatures, and this is the center of my research. So to see a portal opening up is exactly what my job predicts, and watching you walk into a portal and walk out quite changed is interesting to me. Now,
I'm the same
don't
person
need
I
to
went in.
report that. I don't believe you.
I mean, I'm here.
So
I-
is that sword?
Yes, lovely, isn't it? Yes, just you know, picked it up along the way. Just you know, it was just you know, lying around. Thought it looked nice. Yeah, just-
You all saw that sword morph into weird crystal shapes and green mist of fire and weird smoke, right?
Yes. Hence the half-as story not being sufficient.
Well, I mean, you know,
Um,
look, I think we've all
let-
had a long day. I think
I agree. Let's stop these accusations. We won't be
It's
getting
a
any
good
farther.
time
Let's
to rest.
let's not get bogged down in who did what to who, and you know, just you know, let's all sleep on it. See how we feel in the morning.
In
I'm sure.
the entrance of the tent, Primus Savannah comes in. You can see she's been patched up, dried blood still on her forehead. As she comes in, her hair was earlier like kept neatly inside of her helmet. The helmet is now under her arm. As she comes in, her hair, the frizzle behind her. And she looks at you with weary eyes.
Savannah, report.
Sir, Paulus and Habakkuk is nowhere to be found. The Hajari locals are talking of witchcraft and weird voices from the desert. They have fled. So has Rehad for now. I haven't been able to find him.
Well, that's.
There's a few keeping by, and so the others are debating what to do. They did see you. See that? She points at the shot.
This is Savannah. This, from what I can gather, is a ceremonial piece by, maybe of relative import to the previous denizens of the establishment in which we were in earlier. I can assure you that these voices from the desert, I mean, this sounds like local hokum to me. I mean,
give me a deception check, please, Oust.
Sure.
While he does that, has Safis
Wow.
heard of
Oh, the
voices?
natural 20.
Natural 20.
No, you have not heard
So
any
29.
voices. You did hear a lot of weird stuff down in the vault, Safis.
No,
But
sorry,
no- Yeah.
Sorry, I meant to say, has he heard of, stories of voices in the deserts and people disappearing? Is that like a thing that happens?
Give me a history check first of all.
Yes. It's history. He is.
That is. You still. Yep. No. Like it would seem that what she meant is that people like were running away because of the tremors in the ground and some weird sounds. But like. This doesn't keep on any of the of the normal things you've seen, but you do know that any of the carvings, all of the things down there, doesn't look anything like anything you've ever seen in any other dungeon.
All right.
Oust, as you say this to Savannah, she looks back at you. All right, so if you say so, I trust you. But
You've done good work today, Savannah. Just, I can't imagine the stress that such things put a person under, so I wouldn't worry yourself about it. Honestly, it's
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about you, sir. I don't know what the
No.
others are thinking, and I don't know what they want to do. But
well,
trouble
I mean, I
might be
think
coming
we all
this
know
way. I can
where-
feel it.
come back to me when
Ask-
you know it, Savannah.
Yes, sir.
Austin,
And
you will need to tell your people here that if they speak about what happened down inside the temple, they will be treading on pillar territory. They shall say nothing.
good point, Savannah. I mean, I'm sure that you're well versed with this kind of thing, your years of experience in Legion, but maybe some of the younger legionaries, perhaps it would be pertinent to explain to them some of the methods that the pillar go about in terms of their interrogations post certain events. I think we all remember that one a couple of years back. What was it? The sorcerer in that desert town. But I think we let's just take a breath but believe me, and I will, and Alce becomes deadly serious at this point. As soon as you know that something's coming, you tell us. You tell me.
Yes, sir. And she deadpans you like a good sergeant, and she said, "Pillar did it with their magic. See? Yes, sir. I'll make sure that that's the story, sir. I'll keep an eye out." And
Excellent, Savannah.
as she makes an about face as she winces a bit in pain as she walks out to the rest of them.
Get that scene too.
Yes, sir. As you are left back in the tent again.
It's this sword that you wield. Is there any kind of markings or anything on it?
It's there's no markings in terms of it. It's not like a clean blade, as it were. It appears to be. The way I'm imagining it is, it's kind of imagine if Damascus steel was made out of glass in terms of kind of the way, in terms of the texture on it. But there is no sort of visible markings on it. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like, for example, Imperium make in terms of a gladius or any kind of northern kind of style sword or anything like that. It doesn't particularly even look Kalari, and I think there's probably at least a vague sort of baseline knowledge enough between all of us to know this isn't Kalari looking either.
I have a
Yeah.
question for you, Ast. Does the sword move and look alive when you're wielding it or not? Because I need to know that.
I would imagine that if you looked directly at it, it doesn't move. But if in your peripheral vision, especially observers other than me, they probably would swear they see it moving at least slightly and morphing. But upon closer inspection, it wouldn't move at all. Me, I guess, Oust would probably see it moving perhaps a little bit more. He might be slightly more aware of just the odd shift. And like if it's in his hand, he'd probably also feel it shifting. But there wouldn't be any sort of outward, pardon the pun, ostentatious movement of the blade itself.
That makes sense. So, yeah, this dark green kind of metallic glass almost, that when you look at it, it's just like completely pristine, very shiny, beautiful looking sword, right? But when you just like sometimes when you're not looking at it, it seems like it just shifts a bit, it grows and it changes shape and then it hardens and then it breaks and then it moves again, like just ever so slightly. It's very unnerving, but when you look at it, there's nothing.
I'd imagine every now and again there's kind of a small like amount of green dust kind of just left on the floor as well. But yeah,
Would I have done any kind of research on this, especially like deep diving into any kind of religious act or whatever?
Well, give me a history or arcana just for like you observing it, right? And this is going to be a very hard roll.
Okay. So that is 12 for 26.
All right, you still have your inspiration if you want to use that or no.
This 20, yeah, I guess the 26 isn't going to do it. I'll use my inspiration.
I'm not saying that it's not going to do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm going to use that. Is the inspiration give me advantage or just a reroll?
You make another roll.
Okay.
And then you choose whatever's highest.
I will take the 27 that I just rolled then.
There's definitely something going on with that thing. It is clearly magical in nature. You need to take a closer look at it to know precisely, to get to know the energy signature. But one thing is very sure for you, like that was the thing that was kept in there. There was nothing else in the vault that you had to break into, where there was 2 riddles and a key and a lot of stone guardians and the serpent, right?
Yeah,
that thing is important to someone, and it is
technically the only treasure, right? That we found.
Yeah, it is. It is. And when you think about the layout of Kans Pasadar, right? That was designed to keep something out and in, right? At the same time, you can't infer anything about the nature of it per se, other than it's definitely magical. And it's definitely something you haven't seen before. But the rest is like, why go through all that trouble for that if it wasn't very special?
Can I determine what kind of magic it is?
It's
obviously it's not. This isn't arcane magic that's being. Well, it's not wizard magic that's being cast from here.
If
you
I
have
remember
only,
rightly,
Oust, please.
I was gonna say, if I remember rightly from the hexblade, sort of fluff, I believe it says something about the actual weapon itself doesn't appear outwardly, or like upon investigation by like text magic. I don't believe it pings up as magical specifically. Okay. But I mean, it's one of those things. It's more a case that it's unexplained and pretty wacky rather than necessarily it's outwardly arcane, I guess is probably. the
It
better
is
way of putting
definitely not a cane. I agree. I would say
What a menacing
Well,
statement.
I mean, it can be.
what?
Direct.
Oust, you're saying?
No, carry on.
I would say
Noggle will approach Oust. Your blade that you found, the treasure that was in there. Possibly, I can examine it closer and answer some more questions. For we did. You all, of course, noticed the Ouroboros that was the serpent eating its own tail. This is a sign of the Kagundi, lizard folk empire. It was present here more than 3,000 years ago. This is a symbol for their culture or religion. Star and eye that we saw inside the temple, or wherever this chamber was, something I never seen before. Perhaps we should keep a close eye out for these symbols again.
Excellent observation. Nongle, I couldn't agree more in the interests of academic research, if nothing else. I'm sure we could write an interesting, if not fascinating, paper on such discoveries, albeit the very short time we had there. Of course, maybe tomorrow I'll let you take a closer look at the blade.
I'm sure that we can talk about this tomorrow as I wing towards Bjorn and start like pushing Noggle and Safis out of the tent, or like to our about like where are we sleeping actually.
you could take. I'll just get you back to the archaeological camp here. You could take any of the tents on the other side if you wanted
Are
to.
there some empty tents?
Yeah, sure. There's some people who have just vacated the area. It's very empty right now.
Okay, I give a knowing look towards Oz and start like together with Bjorn, if Bjorn helps me, help push Safis and Noggle out of the tent.
Yeah, all 22 pounds of
Safis-
Noggle gets pushed quite easy.
It just gets launched.
Safis, I have a question for you. As I'm trying to push you gently out of the tent, like I was
Safis will
wondering,
leave with you, yes.
everyone else like has an affiliation or like some faction or something they're loyal to, but what about you?
Safis is what you could call a professional adventurer. Safis makes a living going from dungeon to ruin and finding traps and disarming them or marking them and etc. etc. He makes a living doing this because he enjoys it. Hence why Safis is concerned about the sudden goings on he seems to have been drawn into.
So you have no one, like, you have no home?
Safis has a home. It is far away though. Safis wanders the desert by and large to satiate himself. It is boring staying in one place, and it is dull talking to the same people day in and day out. And so Safis explores. Much the same way Safis imagines you would feel if you were stuck in one small village in your homeland.
That's how I started out.
So this
But
nuts.
my destiny brought me here, like yours.
Safis is not one for destiny. Safis sees destiny as a tripe thing that blows away on the wind, and in this desert there is much of wind. But nonetheless, Jar Safis agrees it is tiring, and we have been through much today, and I think a night's rest will do us good. He does glance back into the tent at Otst, and perhaps something more will happen in the morning.
I think so.
As you are going out, you see the legionaries huddled around the campfire. Junior looks a bit better, as all of them has been able to take a short rest, and like they're definitely like looking around. You see a few a few Hajari subjects still being here, being commanded around by the legionaries, but generally no one is allowed into the central part of this area here. Savannah comes up to Safis and Bjorn and asks, "So, what do you make of this?"
You did great honor for you and your line to come.
Well, just do my duty for the Imperium, eh?
I don't know about that, but it was a great honor to fight beside you again. Or at least seeing you fight again.
She cocks a smile at you as she just nods at you and says, "You too, big guy. Always a pleasure." I'm not sure. I know we have 2 legionaries missing. 2 of them, I'm not really sure where we had them and if they really liked the offshore or not.
Well, treason in the Empire. Björn shake his head. Well, you know my opinion.
Well, I'm not sure. I disagree with you too much, to be honest. Well, I have been here for a long time.
Could you tell me a bit about Oust?
As the night falls, it's beginning to grow dark. Well, he's a weird one, she says. I've been serving him for some time. Didn't really. I actually earned my citizenship, if you believe it or not. After 100 years in the service of the legions, well, you actually get to become a citizen if you're not. Well, let me just say, it wasn't like I got much out of that, she says, like spitting on the ground. What I got sent here to this very, very, boring place with him, and so far he has been good to me. Good to us. Secretive, but good. I trust him, she says, looking at you. I don't know, I just get a feeling.
That's good to know. I feel like there's a lot of potential a glance toward the tent. Well, I'm off for tonight. Theus, where are you?
I'm here.
I think we should bed down for the night.
Yeah, I think so too.
Does anyone else want to do anything other than take a rest? Oust?
Yes.
I will give you. First of all, you get an inspiration for playing your character very well.
Oh, so.
Uh,
Actually, I think I already have one, so it just does over.
Oh.
Sorry, I completely forgot about that. I will wait until sort of it seems that the camp has quietened down and maybe people have dropped off to sleep. I will kind of poke my my little elven hand out of the tent door, and I will point at the tents that I assume Bjorn and Fierce are in, and I will cast message to Bjorn.
All right.
And, I'll say, Mr. Bjorn, perhaps if you'd like to join me for a discussion regarding your visions, and perhaps a fair exchange of information is in order if you'd like to join me. But and if this is more than if this is too many words, I'll just keep casting the spell.
That's fine.
But if you wouldn't mind, leave the one that talks.
You can respond to those, right?
You can respond to this message. Yeah.
And you hear something like, beer. Oh, what? He was clearly sleeping, and after a few minutes, I'll pull myself together and leave the tent. And
you leave like a big pool of water behind you as the big bear pelt on your shoulders have just left the frost in its wake.
Do I notice that?
Bed, yeah. Do you notice Bjorn getting up? Is Theus sleeping or no?
I'm sleeping with Bjorn. If Bjorn makes
You're
Like,
probably not
mm.
sleeping super close to him because like you'll probably be in the far end just to avoid the wintry kind of aura of him.
That's
He's
true.
just always cold and wet and weird, especially in warm weather. It's horrible.
Like
Theo,
Bjorn,
so-
do I notice anything? Like I have to ask Bjorn.
I'm
do
not
I notice?
sneaking out, so I don't know.
I mean, mechanically, if you're sleeping, then you just, unless if somebody tries to wake you up or something notably loud happens, you don't automatically wake up. So,
I mean, Bjorn just did like shoot up from bed.
fair.
Theo-
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah.
Theus, I'll say you decide if you notice or not.
Well, Bjorn decides because he's sneaking out.
Okay.
I'm not sneaking. That's my point. Like,
In that case, if you think Theus would
Should I roll a
notice,
perception check?
yeah, dude, go ahead and do that. We'll just decide it with that.
Leave it to the dice. That's perfect.
Yeah,
16?
definitely. You roll a 16. If you want to, Theus can notice this. Yes.
I open my eyes, see Bjorn leaving. I wait a little bit, around 5 minutes, and then I slowly follow him. Sneak
Sure.
it.
Right. May I interject for a moment? Because Safis
Yes.
did have something to do, and it was before night fell in earnest.
Sure.
All right. So just as the sun is still setting, Safis will try to find a elevated position up on these cliff rocks that surround the camp and use his eyes of the eagle to look around, because some people have gone missing, and Safis is curious to know if they left or if they are lost. So he's going to just kind of scan the horizon with his basically magical binoculars to see if he can see somebody just walking out into the desert or groups of people walking out into the desert.
You crawl up on the cliffs surrounding this, and as you get out of the depression in the ground, you come up, and you can just feel the wind starts just blasting you with sand, and you're used to this, so you stand up and you put on the goggles, and you can see how the darkness completely is negated as this everything just becomes much clearer to you as you're standing there with your eyes of the eagle. The desert is tricky in its nature because the sand blows away many trails. You do see a group of at least 20 people in the far distance that are traveling with some belongings. It would seem these would probably be the diggers going to the southwest from you. And give me a perception check as well.
Safis is good with these. He's very good with these. All right, so I have advantage on this because I'm currently using my eyes of the eagle.
Also in low light, in dim light, as it is twilight.
All right, so then it cancels out to normal.
Yep.
All right.
23.
Yep.
Damn. All right, you're to the east. Your magically amplified eyes seems like you see two very, very faint figures. You're not sure. Could be on horseback, could be larger creatures. You're not sure. Hard to gauge what direction they're going in, but they're not getting bigger as you spend a few minutes observing them.
All right, so just to say, while wearing, also, in conditions of clear visibility, you can make out details of even extremely distant creatures and objects as small as 2 feet across. So
These I would say, extremely far. You can only see them because of this, but all right, they're definitely mounted up on horseback, and they're going away from you.
Okay. Yeah,
To the east.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's just a little ribbon feature I didn't know if applied in this instrument. All right, so knowing that and noting that, that's probably the missing legionaries is what Safis is going to assume. He's also satisfied that nothing seems to have been drawn to the large rumblings, at least not yet, and he will after he's taken his look around, will settle back down into the little canyon the camp is in and find somewhere to rest for the night.
Sure. All right, that leaves Noggle. Do you do anything?
Noggle will go into his own tent, make sure no one else is with him, and he will start kind of taking notes on what exactly happened and what he's going to tell the pillar when they contact him again.
You know that if you give a report, usually they will give you a couple of hours to either contact, like half a day, 12 hours, maybe a bit more, a bit less, depending on the commanding officer at the time.
Would I have a direct way to contact them, or would I have to use magic for that?
You would have to use sending for that. If you,
I do not have.
you know what? I'm giving you sending because, of course, you would have that, and I'm giving it to you for free because, sure.
Yay! Free sending. Cool. Thank you.
Good spell.
Yeah, it is a good spell, and you probably couldn't have done your job without it. So, I will say you'll do that. You're not sure. They are usually a bit more like anal about this. Usually, you're not sure why they haven't contacted you back, but maybe you're just really lucky.
All right, I'll just get and rest however I can, and I'll just wait out for the sending to come back to me.
Sure. Then
Because
we'll
I don't
Sure.
have the spell slots for it, so.
Oh well, you do have a short rest, so you could use your arcane recovery to actually. No,
Oh,
you
that's
can't
actually right.
prepare it. Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah, I can't prepare it until I actually finish a long rest anyway. So yeah,
Sure. So you'll just settle down for the night.
I'll settle down for the night.
That is definitely fine. As you go to sleep, you can hear the. You can definitely feel the cold starting to creep in, and you can hear the dim sounds of the campfire outside as the legionaries are stirring outside, talking and amongst each other, the ones who are awake.
All right.
Back to Bjorn and Aust.
So I go up to the tent and open it.
Okay. I am sat sort of. There's kind of a selection of because there's no bed in this tent because I'm an elf, so I don't need a bed. There's kind of like a selection of kind of cushions and sort of rugs on the floor, and I'm kind of sat cross-legged, out of my armor, just in just normal kind of clothes, cross-legged with the blade essentially across my lap. Sort of, I'm not fully in my kind of trance meditation thing yet, but I'm kind of just sat down, just in very low light as well. So,
Well, Björn is practically naked, but still have the bare pelt.
fair enough.
He's probably honestly sweltering in this heat.
Right now it's getting cold. It is the desert, so
Fine.
it will get quite cold when the sun goes down. But it seems like the weird, or as you have seen before, it seems like the weird winter that always follows Bjorn around. It leaves him wet, but still, quite temperate for some reason.
I like the idea that I know
Okay.
he's coming even without hearing him, just by the
Yeah.
just by like the hair on my arms just standing up from the cold that's coming.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like the whatever moisture is in the air just turning into snow, like snow, and then immediately melting. So he's just very damp right now.
Well, sit yourself down.
Well, I don't suppose you have anything strong to drink. You always call for drinks when we.
Oh, I'm sure we've
Yeah,
got something.
during the day.
Is there's bound to be at least something hanging around, like some kind of Kalari brew or probably some cheaper elvish wine around, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you definitely
Okay.
have some of the
Yeah.
like the ration kind of things, but you actually have a box somewhere in the tent. He was very proud of the apple schnapps his family somehow used to make in this desert. You're not really like it might be his ancestry instead, really.
Can I take a look for that?
Yeah, you've tried it before. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just
Strong.
strong. Yeah.
That'll do. Yeah, after the day, that will do. So yeah, if I can find that, then I'll kind of dig that out and kind of rearrange the bottles that are in the case so it looks like none of them have been taken out, even though they definitely have. And I will kind of pour 2 I'll kind of pour sort of 2 tumbler glasses. Then I'll kind of put one down in front of Bjorn, realize how small it is, then pull out sort of take a larger kind of tanker glass, pour that in, and then just kind of top the rest up. So it's like half the bottle in just one glass. I was like, there you go. Right. Well, I guess some answers maybe in order.
I take a big swig from the mug when he says that.
It tastes of like something that should be apple and then alcohol.
And then I top off with the bottle again.
Perfect.
Go ahead, it's not mine. You must understand I'm not necessarily combining with the others yet. They don't appear to have the same understanding of perhaps a outside influence. I should also get some other things straight. I did notice earlier that when the Legion was mentioned, you spat on the floor. I can assure you that your dislike for the Legion and the Imperium, more specifically at large, is shared. Be that as it may, let's get down to business, in the words of Donny Osmond. You you say you've had visions. Just
Yes.
the one? Multiple?
It all started when they came to visit me. You must understand that there's only one true hero to talk about in the North. He was the one who gathered our empire. And long ago, he visited my village. And in that village, he blessed 4 beautiful maidens.
Oh.
One of them being a great ancestor to me. His blood flows in my veins. And that is why I was visited by every wise woman or known man, every wizard in the North, ever since I was little. I
Seems
tried
that
it
they
all.
both-
Mushrooms, spirits. I take a swig of the glass again. Everything to get into that state. It was only recently I had my second true sight in my life. And as I described, you were one of those I was ordered to protect by the guards. I saw them. I stare intensely into our eyes. I saw them. Like you and me, this pillow, no, like this glass. I felt them.
Would you know when you had this vision, in terms of like how far back? And question for Raw. It's basically what I'm trying to ascertain is did the vision happen the same time that I started receiving the messages? Sort of DM question there.
I would say for you, it happened on the day of the winter solstice for you, Bjorn, which would be right now it's the 5th day of the 4th month, the 5th of Aurora. So it's a little more than 4 months ago.
We've been traveling for 4 months.
And you have been, like, this has been a problem for you for years, Oust.
Cool. Okay. Well, I will say, be careful what you wish for. Sometimes they just don't stop coming in, and I will kind of place the blade on the just to one side, get up, and just open a chest, which I mean, and we did say that the ones earlier just poof into dust. I don't know if are we saying that all of them destroyed themselves after reading?
No,
Or
they don't. The ones you have right now, or have had before, I would say you probably have like a couple of boxes full of them if you want to have that.
Yeah.
Right?
so I will just open one of the kind of maybe 3 crates that I have, and just go. These are all correspondence with. I would call him my friend, but that remains to be seen. However, they appear to be at least
The gods.
working in conjunction with me.
What you see, Bjorn, is a box filled with small pieces of paper with the same very neat elven script scroll all over them. The imperial lettering that you know but you can't decipher.
You
All of
talking
them.
to the gods?
Probably also more of a slight mixture. Some of them are probably more sort of scrawly, almost like it depends on the state I'm in at the time that I receive the messages. But
Yes.
yeah, so there's a good mixture. That is a maybe, possibly. I don't the in a roundabout manner of speaking, what I encountered today didn't feel like a god.
Hmm.
It felt big. It felt powerful. But a god's never that helpless.
Helpless. Well, of course you can help the gods.
Yes. But a god allow themselves to be trapped.
Yes, indeed. They get chopped off. They chop off their hands for the greater good.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
Well, Bjorn, you knew that the gods of the north were trapped until Grim Tearson revived them in the Great War against the Imperium, maybe 200 years ago.
Oh, okay. I was thinking actual Nordic knowledge.
So that's fine.
Yeah, I tell that in my own words, so it would be like, the gods can be released on in this world as well. But my question here, Aust, is not for all of this. I see confusion in your eyes, but trust me when I say the answers, they will come. What you should be
Well.
thinking about, Aust, is this. I point to the tent and everything around him. This is not yours. This is an empire who now see you as a traitor. Loyalty your men have outside, when that comes into question, is it towards you or the empire? I hope you have treated them well, because they will flip. So if I were
I
you,
can assure you, I
I
have
would.
made sure that I have not been seen for some time. The reason I'm out here is for that precise reason, albeit not necessarily out of choice.
So maybe
But
you should
no,
think
I agree.
about.
There is a big target on all of us now.
You should maybe thinking about leaving. And if my visions are true, and I can see you are a believer in visions, the only one that would be difficult to persuade is Nuncle the Gnome. Everyone else, Theus, he's loyal, he's my friend. He will go wherever I walk.
Mm.
Safis, I know that man the moment I saw him. He has only coins in his eyes. And you are devoted, just like me. But Nuncle,
Well,
that's an entirely different story.
agreed, and I believe that is, to quote some ancient proverb, that is a bridge we will burn when we come to it.
Yes.
I think our primary objective now is to stop whoever. Well, I know exactly who it is. It's the 2 bastard son legionaries who I am quite sure are, as we speak, riding full haste towards a Imperium consulate in order to, well, in order to pass on information that may not cast me, or in fact any of us, in a particularly good light. I can assure you that me interacting with you, being, at least from reputation and from what I've heard from your friend, a no great friend of the Imperium, may not exactly cast me in a good light. So, for now,
Well,
you have my
oust.
ear and you have my support, albeit I can't actually pay your fears at the moment, and I do want to make that abundantly clear. But for now,
As I said, no fees are needed. Because this is destiny. I pick up the jug, I chuck it all. I say, Oust, get a long rest. Tomorrow,
So-
it's gonna be a journey.
I had the blade on my lap the entire time.
Yes.
As we end the conversation, I will literally pass my hand over it, and it turns to green dust as I unsummon it, and I will just offer my hand as a handshake.
Spill blood together already. Take the hand.
I'm sure there'll be much more.
Yes, there will.
Good night, Bjorn.
Good night.
Theus, you have been listening in on this conversation in the meanwhile, standing outside, the wind and the sand
Just
going overhead.
actually, I wouldn't stand next to the. I give Bjorn enough, like I'm not following Bjorn at every step. I give him enough free room. I'm waiting at the tent and looking where like still light is coming from, and then as I see Bjorn coming out of the tent of Ost, I was standing like just at the entrance of our tent. I go back to our tent, wait until Bjorn is back inside the tent again, wait around 2 to 3 minutes. Then I say to Bjorn, what did you talk about?
Destiny.
How much does he know
Yes.
where he was?
Yes. I tell you, this will be the greatest story about me. Can you envision it? These great champions, all of them in the background, because the one true champion is standing front and center, with coal swirling around him. Oh, this is gonna be a tale.
Yes, it will be. Bjorn probably doesn't notice, but Hughes is a little bit irritated and laying to his lying on his side, turning towards Bjorn. Has he said anything about what he saw? How he did get there?
Oh, Oust.
Yes.
Well, his story is kind of a sad one, actually.
Well, I don't really care about his background story, but how did he get in there? What did he see there? Who did he see there?
His vision.
It might. No, that's vision. When he went through his portal.
Well, I don't know. He said it might not be a guard, but no one can mistake about that.
I guess I have to ask him himself. Anyways,
Yes.
let's take a rest, Lana. Let's take a rest.
Night.
Good night. As soon as the next morning, before anyone is currently waking up, as soon as I feel rested enough, I will wake up and get to Oz tent as soon as possible.
I just need a simple. If you could just. Perfect. All of you can take a long rest. Oust, you transfer 4 hours, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I did the long rest properly. What are? I just remind me of what the house rules are in terms of hit point regeneration on a long rest.
Let me just check here.
Because it's not full regen, is it? If I remember right.
No, and you shouldn't get that. You use your what's it called?
Use
Your
the
hit
hit
die on long rest. Yeah, that is the
Oh, I
house
did it
rule
wrong.
we're doing. You can just take another long rest. It won't.
Okay, cool. So
For some reason, I'm not restoring hit points. Yeah.
Yes, we talked about that as a house
Right, there
rule.
we go.
I'm saying we're using hit dice on both long and short rests,
Okay, good.
Okay.
and then you restore half of your hit dice back when you have rested.
After
And
you roll or before
and again,
you roll?
if this is a weird thing and it doesn't work for us in the long run, then we'll change it up.
So is it do you restore the hit dice after you roll them to regain hit points, or before you roll them to gain hit points?
After I think.
Oh,
Okay,
for God's
so
sake.
if you're missing like 8, you would regain, however many, and then
Yeah,
you would
5,
roll
yeah.
them
Oh,
again.
come on!
Okay. Oh, poor Hans.
While you're rolling here,
That'll do. It's close enough. Right.
if this is too cumbersome, we will just change up the house rule. So let me know after the session's name.
We heal first and then we restore half our hit dice?
Yes, I think that is how it works. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So roll dice, then restore half your level of hit dice. Gotcha.
And I get both of my spell slots back. Lovely stuff.
Okay. When's the next morning?
It is now. Do you? I just want to know if Oust is doing anything, or are you just?
I would probably spend the entire night, like once I've kind of done the 4 hours meditation, which would probably be towards the end of the night. I would just stay up and like essentially just study this the Verdant Shard, just keep on sort of summoning it and unsummoning it. So I'd imagine by the morning my lap is just full of this green dust. Yeah, and I'm probably just poring over any of the kind of papers that I have, or any of the notes that may sort of offer me any kind of further detail in terms of the blade, which I'd imagine there isn't any further information on it.
Well,
Yeah, so
no,
essentially
not
just meditating with the blade.
as you're meditating with the blade. You find yourself looking into your memories. You were looking through all the notes that you got, and all of them have been weird. Like it's helpless in some way, right? It needed you to find these things.
Mhm.
And like you focus on that information. You search and you connect with this sword as you can. Like you feel that there's some kind of space somewhere you don't know precisely where it is, but you can store the blade there. It is both of this world and not. And then, like when you open your eyes, it's like you see yourself, a mirror form, green tint on it, sitting in front of you, also cross-legged in the position you usually find the most comfortable when you rest up.
Mhm.
And you see yourself saying, in this weird half-conscious state you're in, well, it's right, I am quite lost, actually. But that little man did say something, didn't he?
Oh God. What did he say?
Well, Kangundi, didn't he? All right, so here's... Well, it's like the mirror image of you like stretches, and instead of vertebrae like clicking, you hear like the crack of crystal, and he looks at you and says, "Well, I guess getting clean is what we're all supposed to do now." And it looks into your eyes, big dark green, just pools of darkness in front of you. I don't know why I was prisoned down there.
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
I hope so.
And maybe in this place in which our small friend speaks.
I just know that
Meantime, I believe we have some loose ends to tie up. But
that is correct.
believe me, we will find purpose one way or another.
It is the purpose that is the important part here. I can feel it. It is right outside of our grasp, waiting for us in the wind, somewhere, in the world. And I yearn for it, Oust. We will definitely create change in
Oh.
this world.
Oh, believe me, we will. We will.
You open your eyes, well rested, the trance is over. The blade, I guess, is still there in your lap, just quietly humming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was just kind of sort of just keep sitting for a bit, for sort of 10 or so minutes, just kind of. Come on.
It is the middle of the night at this point, so I guess you're just waiting.
Yeah.
Or
I guess I kind of. I do like the idea that whilst high elves don't need sleep, they do. They can sleep. So I'd imagine he just sleeps for the sheer hell of it for a couple of hours. Just like,
You do
might as
feel-
well. Yeah.
you do feel tired. Your body is not used to this kind of this feeling. Like there's a lot of power in that thing, and channeling in that way is exhausting.
Definitely.
In the morning, the first one who wakes up is Theus, and you wanted to go to the red tent.
Yeah,
Theus.
immediately to the tent. I
So, yeah.
whisper inside, like loud enough that Camille, House, are you in there? Are you awake? We need to talk about just a little thing.
Come in.
Okay.
I will, as just before he comes in, I will desummon the blade. So it's just a load of green dust in my lap. I'm just kind of like
just in
patting it
just
down
in
off
case
me.
I
It's
switch.
like,
Okay. Yeah. Just in case I switched one of my spells out, but this might not come into relevance. But just in case.
Sure.
I look towards the tent door. It's a loose tent door, like it's just a flap, right?
It's just a flap, yeah.
Okay. Just in case I cast a movable object on it.
All right. What does that look like?
Just me whispering, so it's probably less than 10 pounds, right? Just a flap of cloth. Just in case.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Like you take out some gold dust of some coins, I guess,
Yeah.
and then
Like I still have the dust left that I had usually for the spells.
sure,
Was subtracted.
there's fine. You see the golden sheen just briefly whoosh, materializes in the on the tent flap, and as you see that the wind is not bothering anymore.
Okay. Just safety measurement. I don't want this conversation interrupted. This is just a safety measure from outside.
Sure.
No, I say this to
Oh,
Ost.
sorry.
I just kind of look. I was like, sure.
I just had a question. Like, you? No, actually not. Just we both are men that have some secrets and some magic that might not be sanctioned. And I won't pry into it. And as long as you're not prying into mine, I feel a connection between us. I mean, we can sure be like start a long friendship with that, right? Like we helped each other, we fought each other, we not fought with each other. And you might have noticed that in the last evening I was pushing for the others to not question you too much. I hope my efforts were noticed.
They were noted. We're still in a period of flux. I'm sure you can understand that I can't fully trust anybody just yet.
This might be. I don't need you to trust me now. I just need you to exchange information with me. This is important. This is very important.
Go on.
How did you? I definitely saw that you were going there with intent through this rift, this portal. this was another plane, right?
Possibly. Maybe somewhere else on this plane. Can't be sure. I'm afraid I don't
But
have
this
the
was
arcane
different.
intelligence. But it wasn't where I was, or where we were, or when we were.
But it was different, right?
And then
So it
imagine he kind
might
of looks at
be-
himself and just sort of slightly worried as he says, when we were. Like, but yeah. Carry on.
I really need to have information about things that might not be on this plane, on other planes. I need to know what you saw there, who you saw there. This might be very important to me. So
Who? The answer to who is a answer that I myself would love to find out. I do not know. All I know is that whatever it is now talks through me, at least to an extent. And I know
What's
what
the
I saw
voice
down
like?
there and what I met down there. What's the voice like? It seemed fairly helpless for a time. It was trapped down there by something. I assume by the beast that assailed us in the room when we tried to leave. But yes,
So it was not recent, right?
It speaks now only of purpose.
Okay.
Purpose
It was
that I
not
must
recent,
find.
right?
Sorry, what was that?
It was not recent, right? Not recently.
When I started receiving the messages, this was the first time I'd heard his voice. Its voice.
His was it meant?
It's.
Was it the voice of woman? This did sound like feminine.
It didn't sound male or female. It was also
Well-
very disembodied. But I should point out that before this, it did not communicate me through it. Communicate with me by voice. And I'll kind of point over to the stacks of notes again. It's just like I just get those. Still do.
So it has been
actually.
going on for longer? It has been going on for
Years.
longer?
Years.
Not recently, okay. Then it's not the one I'm
drawing
seeking.
me to this place. I was still in the Imperium when they first received them. But slowly, surely, they've gotten more direct, more pointed, more instructional, more frequent, sometimes frantic.
And it's not the one I'm seeking. But it might be a clue.
I get
Anyways,
the feeling
if
that
you-
there are more voices out there than just mine.
If you
So
have
yes.
if that thing tells you something more about other planes or other disembodied voices, I would really like you to share the information with me. There is something I'm looking for. Someone I'm looking for. And it would really, really help me if you could share what little information you have, because this is currently what I have seen, one of the few clues I have. Anyways, I'm hoping for a fruitful relationship. I saw that I've talked with Bjorn, that you already befriended him. And as a friend of my friend, I assume we are also now friends.
Of course. But I still can't pay you.
Let's start with friends. I don't take money from friends. Sounds good, right?
Good to know. Excellent. Right.
I
well,
go for handshake.
I return said handshake.
Okay. Can I prank you?
So Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I will make a sleight of hand check to see if my prank worked. So, I actually have to make 2 checks, one sleight of hand and one deception. So for all my sleight of hands.
Nice.
Natural 20.
I was gonna say, can I make a perception check? But I don't think I can technically get a 30. So yes.
My deception, 31.
Jesus.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I
I
am
put-
clueless right now.
Okay, I put like a fat stack of black ink on my hand palm, just enough, but in a way like that he doesn't notice it. So there's now black ink on his hand palm, and I say, you should also like on your face. There's something you should on your left cheek and on the right cheek. Like you should just push it off. On the chin too. Look.
I'll just stop sort of rubbing my face.
Okay, good.
You have big
Yeah,
black streaks of ink.
Like,
You don't
I
really
just
notice
saw
it.
He has a Sean Connery, like he has now black Sean Connery beard. Okay, it's gone. Okay, it's gone.
Yes. I remembered my Chardonnay. Let the birds in the sky.
Do not invoke his name.
Excuse me.
I'm looking
Can you
forward
tell
to
me the way
working
to
with you.
Legoland? I'm sure that the
Oh, why?
Oh,
perhaps
fuck
I
me.
was mistaken. You do seem like an honest man. I will I look forward to the deeds that we will do. Also, probably your hand is also just covered in weird green dust at the same time, but not via a prank, just because I'm just covered in green dust at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
some of it stuck to the ink that was in his palm.
Yeah, so technically it's a mixture of ink and green dust all over my face.
Oh
now.
Christ,
yeah.
you're a glitter dispenser.
I've been glitter bombed.
No, you are a glitter bomb.
Oh shit. Well,
Damn it.
Okay, I will leave the tent quickly, and I will wash my hands.
Nongle, you have been sleeping. Uneasily weird dreams of like you keep seeing the terracotta men like rushing towards you and you blowing them up. The feeling of battle upon you it's not something you're used to. Your dreams start out as just like vivid reimaginations of this very deadly encounter you were just in inside of Kans Pasadar, and then you remember being pushed back, and then when you open your eyes, what you see is the small clearing that you remember so fondly, and the small patch of ashen gray ground, and on that ground, small book lying. And you feel a similar kind of mystic, weird feeling of uncertainty. The awe that you felt the first time you touched it, and the weird trepidation you feel whenever you realize that you probably can't ever go back to that place. And your dreams of battle and being in harm's way is substituted by dreams of you in your journeys, the wonderful sights you've seen, the weird, interesting life forms everywhere, and then the fires and the smoke, the big black scales and the toothy grin. And then you wake up, still in the desert.
otherwise, at that point, I just scream "bastard" in the distance. You bastard!
No, I'll go roll over, grab my book. You and I have some research to do, I think. But first, sending. Yes, it's right here. I'll open up a separate book that is my spell book and go to prepare sending, and then I will cast to the pillar.
Sure.
I will say
You can cast sending to the Office of Mission Control as like a target.
I will send directly to the Kobold Shield.
Yeah.
To whoever my handler is or whatever. What's her name?
Berga.
Yeah, Berga. I have to speak with her. Hopefully she doesn't reply. Anyways, I will say, I'm going to be careful with my words here. Magic detected. It has been dispelled. Require cleanup at Can's Passadar. Will travel to Kagundi.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Wait for a bit, and then you hear. Good to know. Cleanup will be sent. Will you be there? Also, why Kangundi? Over.
I have to send another fucking spell slot, goddammit. Runes showed leads to Kangundi. Need to continue investigation. Over and out.
Acknowledged. Keep safe. We will be expecting your further report on the 12th of Aurora. I have notified the supervisors. Please don't die, Noggle.
Oh, I just don't like her very much. I will then just take 10 minutes. I'll summon Kevin, my unseen servant, and I'll have him prepare me breakfast.
As sure, Kevin starts preparing your breakfast. Saphis, what have you been doing? I guess he's an early riser, isn't he?
He is. He often rises with the sun because otherwise it's too hot by the time he starts moving around. Saphis is probably keeping an eye on the horizon, still not confident that something dangerous hasn't had its attention drawn by the shaking of the tomb. He's also just keeping an eye out on the camp itself, just watching these newfound people come and go, and kind of thinking to himself what exactly he intends to do in the coming days. It's very not over his head, but it's a little much, and he's not confident in himself that he's quite willing to strike up with such a group of people, especially a group of people that seem to be like neck deep in something very much beyond what he is typically doing with his life. With that, however, he will, after he notices kind of everyone's gotten up and around, he will hop out of his little camp, his little tents, and go over to Otz, just because Otz seems to be in charge of the soldiers in this area. Saphis would like to have a brief word with you.
Mr. Savis, please come in. Everybody else is.
As you come in, Prima Savannah comes behind you. She looks in at both of you and says, "Coffee." She holds up a mug.
Saphis would like some, yes.
And you, sir?
I'm fine. None for me, thank you.
She gives
Intermittent
Saphis the mug.
fasting.
Yes, sir. I have reports whenever you'll need it, sir.
Yes, I have orders for later, but we'll go over those.
Yes, sir. Do you want me to send the rest of your companions in after you have had a talk with this Mr. Saphis, sir?
Certainly. May as
Yes,
well.
And
Mr.
she closes the tent flap and walks away.
Saphis
Pull up a
does a brief word.
cushion.
He does so.
Yes, I appreciate your help yesterday. You were quite the vault breaker, as it were. I'm sure we would have had much more trouble getting in without you.
Saphis agrees. He says with a slight smirk on his face. But Saphis is here to mostly speak of the two missing legionnaires.
Yeah.
Saphis thinks Saphis knows he saw them leaving last night by horseback. I assume Saphis assumes that you know where they are going.
I have some ideas. What direction were they headed?
DM, what direction were they headed?
So you are right now here at Can's Passadar. They were going down to the southeast towards Column Keep.
Saphis says they were heading south by east.
Column Keep is an outpost of the Retherian kingdom. And even though the kingdom of Retheria and the Chthonian Imperium is not on the best of terms, there is a consulate in every major Retherian city. So Ravenport, if they are going for that.
I have my suspicions, Saphis. Let's just say that their individual loyalties go above me and towards the Imperium itself. To elaborate, me and the Imperium may not necessarily see eye to eye all of the time, or any of the time. But yes, that's fine. I have a feeling that I'm a marked man now anyway, so we shall see.
Saphis is
But
inclined
thank
to
you
agree.
for, yes.
Yes, Saphis would also like to perhaps make a friendly suggestion.
Suggest away, Saphis.
Saphis has, in his time, come across people who seem, and he kind of like looks back out of the flap of the tent, seemed earnest and dedicated to a cause. How should Saphis put this? Very rarely do their actions meet with their words. Saphis would warn you and would honestly warn the others of these characters we seem to have come in contact with, and would also make the like to make the suggestion that perhaps it is time to get lost in the deserts for some time. He says, kind of like looking around at the green dust. Cephis assumes
I have a mind to
are-
agree with you. Yes. I've got a feeling we may have outstayed our welcome at Kans Pazadar. I've got a feeling that my career may be about to take an unexpected turn. More than it already has done, I'm sure. The Literary Society back home will be most amused. So, yes, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I'm sure, I hope that we can count on your assistance with that. You seem to be the expert in these parts, or any parts, by the sounds of it. But yes,
Cephis thinks he has lived in the desert for many years, and he would know it better than northerners or your folk. But
and I can understand your suspicion. Also,
yes,
I know that sometimes it's not exactly pertinent to be truthful about certain things, especially not when certain members of certain parties are present. So I'm sure you can understand my discretion.
yes, Cephis is worried. Cephis's point. This is a lot. Magic swords, looking at you, magic visions, magic. It is a lot. Cephis raids tombs for a living. He enjoys this work. It is simple, though sometimes not so simple. But then he kind of just pauses for a moment, and Cephis thinks it is at the very least worth finding ways to lose all of you in the desert before he leaves. Before he leaves for his own time. This vision have him worried.
I would probably say, I kind of go. It's been my experience, Sophie, that one doesn't go around looking in tombs and ruins and not eventually pick up at least some magic. And as he kind of is sort of packing like at least a backpack at this point, and kind of just puts the drift globe in as he says that. It's like I find in my line of work, it's almost harder to avoid it. But your advice is heeded, I can assure you.
Cephis would agree with your statements, and he taps his boots. He's a little bit different then, and kind of picks up and just drops a little bit of the green dust. Yes, be careful.
Yes.
And
At the very
as you
least,
said-
I doubt that they're a massive nightmare for laundry, which I've got a feeling this is going to be.
and Cephis would give one more warning. Perhaps, and he kind of looking around at all the green dust. Don't do this too much. If you intend to hide, it leaves a bit of a trail.
You're absolutely right. Perhaps I'll have a word.
He kind of tilts his head at that remark, but doesn't say anything about it.
Well, in that case, I think we should probably gather the others. As I'm saying this, I have kind of a small bit of paper, which I'm just kind of writing, just less dust, please. And I'm just rolling it up, just absent-mindedly as I'm speaking, and just put it in my scroll case. Yeah.
All right.
We
Less stuff, please.
just less dust. Yes. Shall we? Perhaps I've spent all night in the tent. Let's take the bracing, dust-filled air of the desert, shall we?
Yes, Cephis agrees.
As you go out, Savannah, Primus Savannah has awakened the rest of you. Theus, you've like sleeping in the desert close to Bjorn is a blessing in disguise. He might be wet and miserable half of the time, but you are nice and cool, even if the sun.
Well, I am actually used to the desert.
Yes, but this is actually quite nice. Instead of just waking up in a steaming oven of a tent. You two are raised by Savannah. She hands in a cup of 2 cups of coffee. She looks at Bjorn. This is some of the locals drink. Big guy. She thrust it in your hands.
Is it strong?
It'll get you woken up. Do you want a cup? What was your name again? Sorry. She looks at you, Theus.
It's okay if you don't remember. But
Yeah.
this guy here, remember. There will be legends
What
about
a
him.
man.
There will be, in generations, theater plays about him.
Oh, I know him.
Books. Okay, then if you already know him, spread the word.
Do you want
You're
coffee
on the
or not?
mighty.
Do you want coffee?
Do you have sugar?
Yeah, sure. I'll get you some.
Free sugar, please. A little bit of milk?
Junior, give this man some sugar. And some. Do you really think that we can keep milk in the desert? She looks at you.
Do you have like camels? Goats? Anything? Alright, I take free sugar. No, make it 4 sugar.
She just hands you the cup of coffee. You can go to the you could go to the campfire. I'm sure you're capable enough to find your own sugar. I have other things to do. Now that was a courtesy call, gentlemen. If you'll please go to the Optio's tent when you have been dressed. And she
Thank you,
gives
Savannah.
Bjorn a glance. And yes,
We will go find sugar first, and then we come.
perfect.
Also, Caphonians, I'm going to say, are historically all lactose intolerant. As far as no milk.
Perfect. As you come out, Oust, you see that Savannah has the herd legionaries are still doing light work as they're packing up some of the things they have. The less injured ones are keeping guard, still walking around as she greets you and Sophie's coming out of the tent.
Savannah, I'll speak to you afterwards, but make sure the firstly, don't worry about the other two. They're I'm sure they're in safe hands, or at least they will be soon. The rest of the cohort, have them pack up, including the engineers.
Yes,
have them
sir.
pack for a decently long march.
Are we turning tail, or
This place has become
Dangerous.
dangerous. Thank you, Mr. Sophis. almost didn't see you there. Yes, I have some matters to attend to with my companions here. Savannah,
Sir,
how long have
permission
you been
to
a
be
legionary?
candid.
Permission granted.
Sir, is it dangerous for you or for them? And she nods back to the rest of the soldiers.
I think it's dangerous for all of us.
All right.
But as I was saying, how long have you been a legionary, Savannah?
How long? Well, most of my life, I'd say.
Ever thought of getting out?
I
Doing
tried,
something
sir.
else?
I
What was
tried.
the What stopped you?
I'm a lifer, sir. I don't have the breeding that you do.
Was it the money?
Sir, I am in the army because I have nowhere else to go, sir.
Just actually no, don't worry. Okay. Once we're done here, gather. Actually, just you and Arbane, come and see me. But get the others ready as well. I'll have orders for all of you.
She takes the time and she says, I know you're not popular back home, sir.
No.
I've been in the army for little more than 300 years, sir. And after 100, you're supposed to be a citizen. You're supposed to come back and you're supposed to have a life waiting for you. You know
Well,
just as well as I do that that's not how it works.
One of the great lies of the Imperium. You could write a book on all of them, but yes.
Warriors do not read books, sir, she says.
No. But maybe you can at some point. I will run into my tent quickly. I will take, and I'm going to do a dumb move for a D&D player, but for a character point of view, it's a good idea. I will take 500 gold of my gold, and I will come back out in a pouch. Savannah, this isn't just for you. This is for all of you. All of you who wish maybe for a slightly better life outside of all this dust. At least you and Arbane, you've done your time and you deserve better. By the time that we leave here, I want you all long gone, heading whichever direction you wish, and there may be a time in which I call upon you again, but for now, just go and have yourself a life outside the Legion, and keep yourself safe, and, you seem fairly across there. You seem fairly kind of well liked across the board. Kind of sort of looks over to Bjorn. It's like, I'm sure you can find somewhere safe enough. Bane, the crusty old bastard. I'm sure he can as well.
Give me a persuasion check, please. And this is going to be very, very difficult.
I'm going to use my inspiration then for this as well.
Sure. You don't need to use it until after.
Can I inspire him while I see this?
Probably, you're probably not aware of this happening, I'd imagine, because I'm probably trying to keep this as...
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a straight 20. Sorry, I
30-20, yeah.
And I keep... Okay, so how does inspiration work?
You can make another roll, and it will be the left one. So you can either do it once, you can either use it and then get advantage, or you can you can get a result and then use your inspiration to roll another die, and you can choose between them. But before I tell you the result, right?
Okay, I'm going to do that then, just in case I can get higher.
You could not.
I cannot, so I'll take that dirty 20.
Dirty 20. She give me an insight check as well, please.
Insight. That won't be as good.
She deadpans you, like a good sergeant would do. As she takes the money and she says, "Gracious of you, sir. We will. Yes. I will gather the lads and Junior."
Yes. Make sure the twins and Oppia, at the very least. I know Junior's still fairly eager, so I mean, maybe enlighten her to some of the lies that we know of. If she's still fancies a career in the Legion, then, well, I'm sure you can just drop her off the same place that our two companions were going. I can't remember the name of the place. What was it?
Kangundi?
Ravenport.
Oh, Ravenport. That's it.
That's where I assumed Habakkus and Paulus
Yes.
were going. Is that correct? Yeah. I'm sure she can find somebody there. She can say she got lost, or something along those lines.
I'll talk to the others.
Fantastic. But
She,
yes,
she is that also?
yes, that is Addy's dismissed.
She salutes you, turns around, and she says, "Minuso, over here. The rest of you, gather on." And the legionaries gather up, like down here, close to the, and as they begin talking amongst themselves.
In which case, I will walk towards Bjorn and Theus.
You have a map of Cerenar over here, lying on the table,
This
just
fist will
for your
follow.
information.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so Fish, you witnessed this interaction.
And he notes it.
Nongle, you've been asked to attend as well.
All right, so Nongle will come out. His chicken will be floating beside him
Perfect.
as Kevin is carrying Nibbles.
Right.
Mr. Nongle, I trust you had a pleasant night.
Yes, we did. I contacted the pillar, and I have told them that this place needs excavation. It will be done by the pillar's hand, and they are aware and should be arriving soon. I suggest that you let me quickly identify your artifact that you pulled from there, and we should move as quickly as possible as we can to Kangundi, as the pillar knows we are headed there as well. I am to report back to them on the 12th of Aurora, and that is all.
Well,
So,
we better get them something to report then.
Yes.
I will.
I would prefer that the pillar is not introduced to any of you, because, well, the unsanctioned use of magic is not permitted. So, yes.
Believe me, I would prefer to keep myself a stranger to the pillar as well.
So,
Um,
where's the artifact? I don't see it.
I will, and I'd imagine I've probably got like some of my bags outside. I'm gonna full on Mary Poppins the blade out of the bag, but basically just summoning it as I pull it out, so it doesn't look like it's magic. If you want me to do a sleight of hand for that, then that's fine. But and I will kind of produce it and it goes, have at it. Just you know where we stand.
So I'm
I
going
will,
to ritually cast Identify on it, just to see if there's any magics that are pertaining to the item.
and while he's doing that, Sufis is just going to kind of ask the two of these men standing in front of him. Sufis was not aware we had plans to go somewhere specifically?
Sorry, are you saying that to Bjorn and Fierce, or?
Ost and Nargle
Oh,
were
okay.
both there?
Well, I mean, I sort of going off of your advice. I feel like a change of scenery may be in order, and I figure as far away from here as possible might be a good idea. As Nongle said, I'm sure the full long arm of the arcane law will be brought down upon here, as he says, shortly. So maybe for the best if we're not here when they do arrive.
Perhaps. This Sufis' agreement with it is more the looking over at Nargle, the specific location. Safis does not think. When Safis spoke of getting lost in the desert, he meant it quite literally.
Now, Safis, and
Well,
do
I
correct
is.
me if I'm being too bold, but have you ever been to Kangundi?
Let me see. Where is Kangundi again?
Basically the opposite side of the map, so it's like sort of southeast-ish.
Right.
I will activate
Yes,
the map here.
Right. No, I'm looking at the map now, and I know what area you're talking about. Safis has not been so far, no, but uh,
Where
you
is
must know that
Kangadi? Do you bring it
it's to
further?
the south of the Grey Rim Mountain.
Now,
Oh shit.
Yes, but no, Safis's point, also, is perhaps voyaging so far so soon is not exactly a good idea, considering that gets us substantially closer to a certain group of people who want. He now just starts counting on his fingers. Approximately 4 of this group dead.
now, well, one could say that you know, there's an argument for hiding under their nose, but put it another way, Mr. Nongle, perhaps your knowledge of Kangundi is better. In terms of the industry of ruins and shall we say dungeons in the area, is it particularly teeming with such places?
The forest gnomes, yes, teeming with them. They're horrible creatures.
Well, I mean, we might have some trouble with the head height, but I mean, a dungeon's a dungeon.
I would prefer to stay away from forest gnomes.
Believe me, so would I. But it's well, I mean, if we've got to go there, we've got to go there.
Well,
I suppose we don't have to go there. I just have to get out of here. But
as far as I'm concerned, you're still under pillar contract, and you will go to the wilds of Kangundi.
Safis gives a very pointed look at that remark, and will speak up and say, Safis thinks perhaps you are overstepping yourself, but we have more than just you and you, he says, pointing at the 2 men he's talking to in this group, and perhaps it is a group decision. Yes.
You are all together,
Agreed.
so Bjorn and Theus, I guess you're also there, right?
Oh, are they? Okay.
Are we?
yeah, they're kind of just milling around, I think.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
can you
like
be
if
entering
invited?
then?
yes, you can be entering
Yeah.
around now then.
Yeah, they arrived.
You have managed to
approximately
find
this
sugar
moment.
for Theus.
I'm not really sure I
really
like
prefer
this
milk.
drink. It's quite bitter.
It's an acquired taste. It's an acquired
Mm.
taste, but I do think it acquires sugar. And more sugar or more milk?
Or snaps.
Yeah. For you, yes. Wait, why is everyone looking so tense?
Because our friendly neighborhood enforcer is suggesting, or rather demanding, that we head to a particular location, and one that Safis thinks is not such a good idea.
Do you have an alternative aside from, as you say, getting lost in the desert?
Further south, the Hijawi Emirates, the tribes of the desert, somewhere that involves not, again looking at Nurgle, following the plans of a man who he just kind of leaves it at that.
Well, you have to understand that whatever it is we found in there, there was a lead to something else. We would naturally follow that plan, wouldn't we? And so, as I would, I guess that was rude of me to demand, but I would suggest now strongly that we continue looking towards that direction. And of course, if I hate to say this again, but we are on Pillar's business, and we must continue to at least appear that way to not arouse suspicion.
I would add a slight correction. You are on the Pillar's business.
Safis would agree with that.
Perhaps a mild compromise along those lines.
Yes, so
It would take us.
Have been... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Safis would like to clarify that he is not necessarily against heading to these jungles lands to the east, but he is against heading there so soon. There is no better time to be assaulted than when on the move in foreign lands. Sapphire thinks, for now, until we have at least somewhat lost the trail of the two men heading to get reinforcements, that we remain in territory that is familiar to at least some of us.
It would occur to me. Sorry.
No, continue.
Okay. It would occur to me that whilst I appreciate our friend is of the pillar, and he could get us there quite quickly should he want to, that it will take some time to get to Kangundi. They do not know our route. They do not know our specific location. And providing there is a degree of discretion from our friend, I see no reason why we can't all benefit, or at least some of us benefit, from the knowledge that may be discovered in this area. And if I would be so bold, it does sound like at least somewhat of an adventure, Mr. Sophis, although I'm sure that's not the crux of your being. Perhaps, maybe, then we head south, rather than towards Ravenport. And then travel eastwards from the Emirates.
Perhaps we could fetch a ship in one of the
Exactly.
harbor towns and then sail ourselves to avoid suspicion. But quick teleportation magics will not. We won't be using those, as I want to keep the pillar out of this as best as possible. I am
I'm
risking much for us.
Mr. Nongle, perhaps when you offer a report to them, you can maybe embellish the truth. We are traveling to Kangundi, but maybe not the route that we truly are taking.
And I don't have to report
Perhaps
back
through
for-
Ravenport.
I don't have to report back for
I-
6 weeks. I don't need to report to them how I'm getting there. We just need to go there. I
Oh,
told them
is
that
it
we
6
are
weeks
going.
that you're next?
6
For
days.
some reason. Oh, so it is 6 days. Okay, right.
6 days.
So,
yes.
so we definitely wouldn't be there by then.
Yes. I'll
I
report back and
agree.
say that I'm on my way to Kangundi. I don't need to tell them where, how I'm getting there.
Okay.
And, yes.
I would agree that we should, at least, it's important that we stay together. Bjorn's guidance has never failed, and if we separate, we will singularly or all separated die. I think there was a saying, there was an old saying that said, divided we fall, united we stand, something like that.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
true.
I think the best thing is that we stay together, first of all. Make our way to Ravenport, and from there it's probably take a boat, maybe to one of the many port cities towards Orania, and from there we go to Water Kangundi.
Yes.
As good a plan as any.
Safis
Do
is
I-
more inclined to follow south and head through a ship through the Hajjai Emirate. There
I
are
would like to not go south if possible.
What is the problem with going south? Does it matter? We have an excellent guide
There,
from our friend here. Sure. You're the most
south
familiar
I
with this
heard.
area.
Well, south I heard there were bad stuff happening, and
If
I
I may
think we
be
should
so
stay out of
bold,
trouble.
there is an argument that that kind of trouble may be the perfect cover in order to move unseen.
What is this trouble you speak of?
Good point.
There are, from what I've heard, there are organizations there which they take contracts to kill. They are contract killers, from what I've heard. And if we are really like currently on the run from certain people, then it might be possible that they send contract killers to us, and it would be bad to run into the hands and into the arms of our enemies. So
What
I
did
would
you
advise
call-
to not go there.
What did you call them again, Theus? Did you
Contract
did you
killers.
name did you name
No, I just said contract killer.
all right, cool. I just
No,
wanted to know.
I just said
Sure.
contract killers.
Cool. That was all I needed to know.
Alright.
Well, I mean, you have your great friend of renown. We have ability between all of us. We fought a giant brass snake. Or bronze, brass,
Torres, I believe.
metal.
It's easier to fight against enemies that directly confront you instead of worrying every time that you go to sleep or look over your back that you find a dagger in the side.
I can assure you that I am well versed in that.
Sophis would agree. Sophis has spent many a days in the desert alone, and he is grown accustomed to watching himself, and he could likely extend this to others.
Perhaps then.
Well, not everyone has that ability. I would really prefer to choose a safe route, and Ravenport would be much better, in my opinion.
Sophis would like to remind you that it is likely this port of Ravens that our potential rivals will be waiting for us at. We will be walking into the proverbial scorpion nest.
Okay,
Perhaps
so it's
a compromise. Carry on.
I'm
Mr. Bjorn.
sorry, I'm gonna speak out.
Go ahead.
So one does not want to go south, another doesn't want to go to Ravenport. As one way nobody mentioned, that's over the mountain, over the mountains to maybe Wolfshold, the Metric Castle. Let's go north.
I hate to throw another spanner in the works. Going north would rather mean that we would have to eventually pass through the Imperium. And
Oh, you're talking like the long way around? Oh well, yeah, you could do that.
that's the very long way around. Unless we took a ship from Tandborg or somewhere like that, I guess.
Safis's concern is that, regardless of where we go, we will face similar threats. If we head north,
Agreed.
perhaps we will temporarily see less of the pillars and less of the Imperium, but only temporarily. And Safis thinks, while heading to Ravenport may seem at first glance the safest route, there are groups of people and groups of hired killers throughout this world. It is hard to make an argument against.
Mr.
It is hard.
Fierce. Go on, sorry, finish.
No, he was just finishing a sentence. Go ahead.
Okay. Is it the sea to the south or the south in general that
They have the influence all over the south, and they are much more capable than even us might think. Let's go another way. We don't have to go to Ravenport. What about like we take a route to the Column Keep, then Kurbonam, and maybe to Crossroads, and take a longer way around. Like wouldn't go directly to Ravenport. At least we would go south, but would avoid Hajari Emirate, at least for now.
We could travel
DM
from Arkham
can-
Port.
Yes. Safis thinks, when you do you wish to avoid the entirety of the Hajari Emirate or just the major city?
I heard not good things. They are, at least in our current situation, I don't think that it's currently good that we go to a territory where hired contract killers could be ambushing us at any point, especially as we are, from what you said, are currently on the run.
I think Safis thinks at this point it seems that we are at an impasse. Is regardless of the route we take, there will be hull ships. Safis thinks it is time for the group to decide which hull ships they are willing to stomach and which ones they are not.
agreed? I would be willing to go any route that doesn't take us directly through Ravenport or the Imperium. If that means going via Ravenport, Column Keep though, Column Keep is an issue. We may be able to slip under the net of the Imperium, at least to an extent, but it would be difficult.
Ravenport is the Empire of Man, right?
Yes, there are Chthonian influence. Well, there is Chthonian influence there. We know that.
Oh, you find
two
the
of my,
old Northmen in Ravenport. Like, it's a big city.
Just to
It
be
is.
clear, Ravenport, Column Keep does not have a Chthonian consulate. Ravenport
okay.
does.
Okay.
So only the big, the big cities does have a consulate. The ones
Okay,
with
that
Ravenport,
the,
changes-
Staunch
changes things
Flow, New Wrath, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so New Wrath, Staunch Flow, Ravenport, Magtic Castle even has one, and Port Leviathan has one. The rest they don't really like.
Perhaps then we make our way to Column Keep, and then decide which direction we take. We've got to get out somewhere. It avoids the Hajari Emirate. By that point, we're free sailing essentially.
Maybe we could
What way
find
we go.
mounts. Column Keep.
Absolutely. I'm not averse to going by land, but it will take us considerably longer.
Safi still does not like the idea of moving so close to the, essentially chasing after the messengers that are sending for troops to chase us down.
Nor do I, but one does think that needs must.
Do not let fear conquer you, Mr. Safis.
Perhaps then
Safi's-
a vote. Those in favor of going via, those against going via the Hajari Emirate, voice their objection now.
Well,
I just want to
objective, if
say-
we don't feel safe in that area, then we should not go that way. There are safer ways to go.
Okay.
I would rather face an enemy that we know what they can do than having to always watch our backs against an unknown force.
Feeling we'll be watching our backs wherever we go now, but fair enough.
Cantonians, we know they're soldiers.
Yes, we do. I find myself in the strange position where, despite the two, I would say traitors, but they're in fact probably going to be classed as heroes of the Imperium, despite them riding towards Ravenport as we speak, I find myself no more averse to going that way than the Hajari Emirate, providing that we avoid Ravenport.
Yes, we avoid Ravenport to Column Keep, just to pass through, and then down to wherever else to find a boat.
Crossroads? Staunchflow. What do you know about Staunchflow?
Oh, I know it's the city of sin.
Oh, sounds quite
Well,
nice.
then we are good, and it's a good company for us, I would say.
Staunch Flow is known as the City of Sin. It is famed for having the best restaurants, the finest wines, and the most interesting company that money can buy.
Let's do this. It sounds like a brilliant city.
Very
Safis,
interested with this.
do you have any objection to Staunchflow? Or is it merely the means of getting to it?
Saphis thinks if you're worried about assassins, going to a city known for its sinning is not
That is a good point.
necessarily a bad idea. Saphis wishes to travel to the desert. It is what is familiar to him. It is where he knows the people, and it is what he thinks to be the safest routes. It is much harder to track a group of travelers through shifting sands than it is through well-traveled roads.
Would we know, aside from Sophis's skill at tracking, would we know which route would be quicker to get to Staunchflow? For example, trekking over desert, would that be slower than going via Column Keep and down on the actual roads?
Without a guide, almost certainly, the desert
Okay.
will be slower. You get the feeling though that Safis can probably do miracles in the desert.
Gotcha.
Especially the desert, I would say, for his sake. You know that the Sand Sea is it's large, it's very hostile, and even though it is a desert, it is very much alive with a lot of different people. But it's also easy to hide in a big haystack, so to say. If you go through Rethuria, you would have to go to first the Duchy of Rovan, which is first of all the seat of the Rethurian intelligence service, the Black Cloaks, which you have had one or two run-ins with. But it's generally you've been through once when you went from Ravenport up to Kans Pasadar. It's a horrible place. It's just bleak and there's kale everywhere and people are miserable. And for some reason there's a stupid amount of birds in Ravenport. Going through the Kanskalar down to Rathajar, well, I guess if Theus has some enemies there, that's also very dangerous. So Safis is probably pretty right. So benefits for going through the
I never
desert.
said I have enemies there.
Pardon? No, but
I just said there were
you're
contracts.
worried. You're worried about
I'm worried that there are
contract
contract killers after us.
See, I think that if there are contract killers after us, it really won't matter where we are. Kind of the whole point of a contract. They do it regardless. And I can't help thinking they're going to get to Ravenport first. And that's where the contract's going to come from.
This is why we don't have to go to Ravenport. We just go along the
No, but we have to go
cities.
past it. And then past Intelligence Central in the Duchy of Ravan.
I would say
Market range.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sapius would also like to point out he has traveled to the Hajari quite a lot as well, and it is not a place that the Imperium has much of a foothold. In fact, since the war long ago, it is quite independent of the Imperium. Pointedly.
Let us also not forget that I'm sure at least some of us have means of passing undetected, albeit through the natural world or through more urban climes.
And at the same time, there are people who can see through that. What about the Market range? There is no. I do not trust the territory of the Hajari Emirates that we could go safely through that. There is
this might be something
there.
This might just be a map artifact, but is that something into the mountains in Kerbaram there?
Kerbaram is a dwarven hold. And the Maggot Range has been the backdrop of a 100-year-long war between goblin tribes and the dwarves trying to settle the mountains. It's not as big a mountain range as something else, but it is quite poor. So there's
considerable.
So but the regard if you ignore Kerbaram, it's really just a very desolate kind of mountain range.
Would there be, at risk of us going full, my cousin Barling can lay us on a feast in Moria? Yeah, and I've just noticed the same comment on Twitch. Would we be aware of perhaps a backdoor into Kerbaram through the other side, through the mountains? Bit of a push. I'd imagine being an elf, I probably wouldn't have any idea about dwarves, but yeah.
Well, you are a historian, aren't you? So give me a history check.
Can I assist him?
You're
with
not
that?
wrong. 29. That'll do.
There you go. That'll do.
Yeah. like plus 10 on history. So
The maggot range is called the maggot range because it's completely dug through with holes. There are rather large concentration of goblins and other kind of greenskins that are normally shunned by other society that has been living in those parts everywhere. It is also called the Hollow Mountains. So you could probably pretty easily find a backdoor into Kobaram. It's just a question of
getting through it.
getting through it. Yeah. You wouldn't need to go over the mountains per se, but the maggot range specifically, you might be able to go under. Yeah.
Mr. Sophis, how would you feel about more subterranean exploration?
Yeah, he kind of just like gives a shrug of like, Sophis thinks this is an option, but Sophis thinks you were right to call a vote earlier. I think
Yes.
we have two routes, by and large, that we could reasonably take. We could head south through the desert and the Hajari Emirate, or we could head east and then south through the kingdom of these Rathveria. He stumbles over the word. And it's...
At the
I
risk
suppose
of
these-
complicating things, then, I will offer the alternative of going through the mountains.
Sophis
Just as a
thinks-
compromise.
Sophis thinks this is more just heading east, but with extra steps. And if we decide to head east and south, we could vote on that.
We may be able to head through the mountains further south, though, and just sort of bypass the Hajari Emirate. What if we went south as far as we could and then passed through the mountains on at the south of the range?
Yeah, Sophis thinks this is fine. It is would get us around what Sophis is mostly worried about.
So we travel through the desert to the south of the Maggot Range, and then we try and pass through or over into the Duchy of Arquith.
Sophis nods along. Sophis has no strong objections to this.
Any other objections?
Should we restock when we first through Column Keep? Do you have
That would
information
kind of
how
go.
much?
If we're restocking Column Keep, we might as well go through Column Keep. I think
Yeah.
is the.
Sophis knows of many places we can stop along the way.
Or do we go via Klima Corral? No. No, I'm not. That's. You would probably be able to find sort of certain nomadic tribes in the desert, right? That we could pick up supplies.
Sophis agrees to this.
What does Theus, Bjorn, and Nungle think?
I'm fine with the range. It's just what we should get traveling though.
I agree.
South regardless. Doesn't matter to me which way we go.
It would really help us with mounts.
Well, perhaps we can purchase mounts. Sophis, can you find us mounts?
Sophis thinks we could find mounts at many traveling tribe. Sophis thinks we could also find mounts in the Oasis or in the Emirate if we were to just pop in over the border for a village and then pop back.
They would be camels, right? Because it's a desert. They would not be horses.
Sophis thinks this is incorrect. There would be horses
horses.
for sale depending on where you went.
Many different kind of mounts used in the desert. From
Usually they are
big stomping
specialized for a
lizards to
Yeah.
Like the Magi and the Mummy.
like some of the most famous caravans are on the backs of great lizards.
Let's get one of
I
those.
don't think we can transport them. I don't think we can transport them over the mountains.
Probably not.
I would
The
definitely
problem I
like
just
to
see
ride
is
one
that
of those.
usually
If Hannibal can bring a bunch of elephants, we can bring one dinosaur.
I
one
mean,
Brontosaurus, please.
you
Oh,
son of a
wait,
bitch.
if
I'm
I
in.
see one, can I polymorph?
Right.
If I see one, can I polymorph them?
Well, I guess I have to check the CR of one, but yeah, probably, I guess.
Alright.
In which case, any objections to that plan? we travel south as far as we can, and then cross the maggot range to avoid the Hajari Emirate.
Like,
As long as we don't get too close to it, I'm fine.
Yes. Yep. We will steer as clear as possible. All those in favour say, yeah, go on then.
I go.
Yeah.
I.
Yeah,
Yes,
go on.
go on then.
So now that Safis is aware of where we plan to go, the second question then arises: how do we plan to cross from staunch flow to this wild kingdom of the east?
By boat.
There are many traders going in the western part of the Bracedover Sea. In the eastern part, not so much, but there is like a free settlement, which is quite well known, called Blimey Bay, somewhere in the Kangundi. So if you go to the Leviathan Isles, you might be able to, or to New Wrath, you might be able to find a transport to there.
Well, there's also Haven as well. That is the homeland of the nomads, such similar to myself, the gnomes. We could possibly go there and get an airship. That would be
Let's-
one way to travel.
Let's concentrate on getting through the maggot range first, shall we?
Safas agrees.
We'll burn staunch flow when we get to it.
Exactly.
Is that the proper way of saying it? Yes. Okay. Very good.
It's close enough.
Very well. In which case, ladies and gentlemen, or well, just gentlemen, I guess now. Can't see Axia. We should pack our things. We should leave as soon as we can.
Alright.
So Nongle would have obviously finished the identify spell during this.
Yes.
Do I notice anything?
I'm going to go a bit off rules as written on this check. So please give me please give me an Arcana check.
Arcana check. That is. Oh no, that's a 9. So it's 23. Good thing I have plus 14 to my Arcana.
Christ.
And then, you're focusing on the identify spell as you are touching this weird kind of piece of glass, like crystalline metal that Oust has given to you. Please give me that will be a wisdom saving throw.
All right. Shit. Wisdom saving throw. That is a 10.
Oh no.
Okay, well, interesting. Please give me 1 second here.
Wait, do you
Even
have a
I
plus
know
6
what's
to
going on.
intelligence?
Sorry?
Do you have a plus 6 to intelligence?
It's a wisdom saving throw.
I have.
No, I mean
plus,
because of
I
Arcana.
have plus 5 to intelligence, but I also have a stone of good luck. So
Oh, okay, good. So good luck. I wondered, like, how do you get to 14?
oh shit, what's going on?
Oh no.
You see
Oh shit.
homes, food, laughing children. You don't see it as much as you just feel it. 10, 20, no, hundreds, maybe thousands of families. And then just nothing. Disappeared. Hundreds of years of history erased in an instant. And you can just hear thousands of screams. And then the sound of 2 stone slabs closing. 2 red eyes in a bronze sheen. And then darkness. And that is where we will end today.
Right.
Oh
Nongle
my
is
god.
fucking
Thank-
terrified right now. Poor little guy.
So with that revelation, that is where we'll end today. Thank you, all of you who are still watching. You deserve a medal for surviving 5 hours of actual play D&D, and thank you all for playing with me today. I've had a blast. And let me
Same,
just
same.
Yeah, that's nice.
Same.
Really good.
And before we go out to the outro, I'll just say that our suppliers is Foundry Virtual Tabletop and Incarnate, and they enable us to play with our friends from all over the world and make amazing maps. We're very happy about using Discord and Twitch for bringing all this together on one platform, and all the music and art that we have been using, especially the cartography made by CPQ. Very, very grateful. All other credits, all other things, you can check out in the About section of our Twitch stream. And of course, last but not least, very special thank you to our own IT guy, and I see him in the chat. It is, of course, our IT guy, God, Nick, on twitch.tv/UnoGaming, and that is EUNO Gaming. And you can see him Sundays at 8 p.m. to midnight PST for his Star Citizen stream, and a variety stream on Tuesdays around the same time. I think it's 7 p.m. that starts. And we are hoping that he will help us make an RSS feed for us to make a podcast that people can listen to when they are on there. This is Saturdays. Oh, I'm sorry. Saturdays. Oh, well, go check out. He's great. We like him. He made sure that we have a server, so I'm very happy about that.
Yes, we all like Nick.
Anything else that I forgot to say?
I think we're good.
Well, with that, I will bid you all good night. Thank you for watching.
Goodbye.